Good afternoon. Sir, can we start?
Good afternoon.
We can start, sir, now?
Yes.
Yeah. Good afternoon. On behalf of Professional Development Committee of Institute of Cost Accountants of India, I welcome you all for today's webinar series on UPSC ICoAS preparation. Our today's speaker, CMA Sitangsu Kumar Guha. Sir served in Indian Audit and Accounts Department since April 1983. He joined as Assistant Audit Officer, promoted to Senior Audit Officer, and then promoted to IA and AS in 2009 batch. He retired in February 2018 as Director from the Office of Director General of Audit, Kolkata. Post-retirement, he worked as Registrar in Kazi Nazrul University, Asansol, West Bengal. Presently, he is a member of Institute of Public Auditors of India. Sir, I request you to start the session.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody.
Sir, you can share the PPT,
Yes,
sir.
yes. Recording has started.
Yes, yes, you can share the PPT, sir.
Go to PPT.
Yes, yes, it is coming.
Came?
Yes, sir.
Hello. No, okay, okay. This is session for Indian Cost Account Service aspirants. All are welcome on my behalf. And today's session is government accounting, part of general principles, comparison with the commercial accounting, Indian government accounting standard issued by the Government Accounting Standard Advisory Board, role of Comptroller and Auditor General of India, and Public Accounts Committee. Today's session, mainly government accounting and related subjects. Government accounting refers to the system of preparing and maintaining accounts in government departments mainly, and it is uniformly recorded, classified, summarized. This is the accounts of financial transactions, information regarding receipts and appropriation of public funds and other financial information based on the mandates, principles, rules, and regulations framed from time to time and subject to audit by Comptroller and Auditor General of India as empowered by the Constitution and other statutes. Okay, it is audible?
Yes,
Hello?
sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay.
Sorry, but
Okay. Main features of government accounting. It is based on the annual budgets. The government accounts are based on annual budget, that is finance bill approved by the Parliament, Legislative Assembly of the states and union territories having Legislative Assembly. Government accounts are thus governed by budgetary regulations, that is budget allocation and appropriation. These government accounts, that is annual accounts of the government, consist of finance accounts and appropriation accounts and presented to the Parliament and State Legislative Assembly. And it is prepared by the C&AG of India. Main heads of accounts. Government accounting is governed by budget, allocation, and appropriation. These allocations are made according to classified budget heads, and appropriation are made from the approved budget heads. There is heads are defined and it is uh, given for that codes are given. The heads are classified in major head, minor head, subhead, and specific codes are allotted. And government finance are maintained in three parts. That is consolidated fund, contingency fund, and public accounts. Government accounts are related to this structure of government finance, which consists of these three parts. That is, these are the parts of the government accounts. Then these government accounts are as per the constitution. That is why requirement of the constitution, as the constitution requires that the revenue expenditure and capital expenditures are to be shown separately in the budget. So the government accounts are maintained accordingly, and transactions are recorded separately for revenue expenses and capital expenditure. This is the structure of the main structure and accounting system, that separately exhibition of the revenue and capital expenditure. Government accounts basically maintained in cash basis, actual cash receipts and cash payments. I think, I hope that everyone is aware of that. And payments during the financials are recorded in government accounts. And it is also a single entry system. Transactions of the governments are recorded in a single entry system, not as like other organizations, double entry system in commercial organizations. Uh, and it is straight line system of single entry. In commercial nature of transaction of the government accounts, various undertakings and other departments, they are maintaining in double entry system and accrual basis. And that is as per the provisions of that particular act of the government and various statutes. Statutory organizations, they have some act, provisions of that act. Accordingly, they are preparing. And commercial undertakings registered under the Companies Act, they are maintaining as per Companies Act. These are the 7 features of the government accounting mainly. And then I divided principles of government accounting. Principle of budget conformity, that is, it is conforms to the budget accordingly. The fiscal control, budgeting, accounting, that components are the main principles of governing that accounting system. Principles of compliance, that is also rules and regulations, and standards are there. When C&AG audited that, that maintains that financial attest audit rules, accounting standard, and accounting standard also prepared by that GAZAP, Government Accounting System Advisory Board, that their standards and systems are followed. Principles of custodianship. Accounts must be set forth in such a way as to permit a determination of adequacy of custodianship of monies and assets under the responsibility of administrative officials. Government accounts and assets are the main custodian administrative officials, and government assets actually belongs to the community. So the accounts are maintained by the administrative officials and they maintain their funds also. It should also enable an independent audit extending to all records, funds, securities, and property. some other principles are there. Principles of transparency. We know that accountability and transparency is side by side goes on. Government accounting system should be transparent enough that should provide full disclosure of financial results, including measurements of revenue and cost activities, programs, organizations, so that the uh, transparent must be maintained, transparency must be maintained in preparing and maintaining the accounts and funds, and sufficient disclosures should be given so that the transparency is maintained. Principles of reliability. Uh, every expenditure should be in such a way that the reliability is there. Not only expenditure or income, revenue, but also the people who are working on this, that reliability should be maintained. Government accounting shall be maintained in such a manner that relevant information for planning and direction is available to the management at all levels on time. It should also provide information necessary for economic analysis and planning of government activities. So, since it is linked with other information, so the reliability of the amount or figures should be maintained. Principle of verifiability. That is, it should be verifiable. Anyone can verify the accounting from the accounting system of that accounts. The accounting system should be devised in such a way that each item of record can be verified with proper documentary evidence so that effective system of internal audit and control can be operated smoothly. So these are the principles of government accounting. Then I have prepared objectives of government accounting. First, to provide information on achievement of budget targets. The important objective of government accounting is to provide information on achievement of budget targets, because the stakeholders wanted to know the achievement of the expenditure mainly, and income also. That is, in single word, it is, we call it revenue. This is done by providing information on headwise figure of budgeted resources to be allocated and to be spent appropriated way. Headwise figures of revised budgeted resources to be allocated and to be spent appropriated, and headwise actual amount of resource collected and spent. All these should information should be maintained and provided to the stakeholders. Next, to provide information about revenue. The important objectives of government accounting is to provide adequate, timely, and classified information about revenues, what I was telling in past instances. Revenues generated from various sources. The government revenues are classified into tax revenues and non-tax revenues. Then information about expenditure. Another objective of government accounting is to provide information about expenditure made by various government offices, department, agencies, etc., etc. So everyone is interested to know the uh, accounts position, income and expenditure, information, other information regarding that expenditure and income. So these to be provided so that the accounting system should be maintained in that way. Then provide information on loans and advances. The government also provide loans and loans to different individuals, institutions from time to time. Loans and advance also, grants in aid also there. These accounting information will enable the people to have an idea about the government debt position and the interest burden as being faced by the country, and how much community is getting. All stakeholders are interested to that. So these objectives should be fulfilled. Next, to provide information about availability of cash. In government accounts, it is, since it is budgetary system of maintains, so it is expected that the budget should be expended within the year. So transaction of collection and spending of funds, cash are performed through the wide range of network. Hence, there may be a gap between cash receipts and availability of cash for meeting expenses. Timely and proper information on cash availability must flow from one end to another to take proper decision. That whatever revenue is earning, that much is spending or not, appropriated or not. That information should be provided. The objective of government accounting is that. Next, foreign exchange. To provide information about foreign exchange. That is also, in addition to above mentioned objectives, the government accounting also to provide information about government borrowings in the form of foreign currency and assistance received from foreign country. So all these are objectives of the government accounting. Okay, is it audible? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. It's audible, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. Next, comparison of government accounting and commercial accounting. First of all, nomenclature, that is name. Government departments and government expenditures are maintained in government accounting. It is called government accounting. Whereas in commercial houses, we call it and known as commercial accounting. And previously I have told you that government accounting is single entry system, cash basis, whereas commercial accounting is accrual basis and double entry system. Then purpose. Government accounting is maintained by the government offices to know the position of public fund, whereas commercial accounting is maintained by government undertakings, mainly government undertakings, because we are going government accounting system. So this is part of government accounting system, though it is maintained in commercial system. Government undertakings to know the profit or loss and the financial position of the organization, individual organization, not as a whole of the government or state government like that. So in commercial undertaking, it is unit wise. Then budget. Government accounting strictly follows the government budgeting system, whereas commercial accounting followed their own budgeting system. Government budgeting system is a part, but they have their budgeting system, though budget is not reflected in accounts, but as per budget, they're actual reflected in the accounts. This is the difference between government and commercial undertakings. Basis, previously I told, so here also it is mentioned. Government accounting is cash-based accounting, whereas commercial is maintained on cash as well as accrual basis. So both maintain. Then level of accounting. Government accounting has the system of central level and operating level accounting. That is, government as a whole, centrally that is maintained, but it is comes from the very uh, different levels of the government departments. Uh, say, for example, Panchayat Raj institution to local audit to government departments, offices like this. Whereas commercial accounting has no such provision of central level or operating level accounting. That is only organization level, whether it is uh, they have the branches or not. If they have the branches, that is consolidated accounts. Otherwise, it is single system accounts they are maintaining as a whole. Rules and provisions. Government accounting is strictly maintained by following the financial rules provisions of government. That is how that accounts to be maintained. Previously, I have told that government, the provisions of the government and framed standards are used, that rules are followed, where commercial accounting are mainly generally accepted accounting principles, though these generally accepted accounting principles also observed in government accounts. Government accounts also they have the uh, system Gazav has yeah, prepared that principles. Even generally accepted accounting principles are followed in commercial and government also. But in commercial, it is strictly followed their principles and as per statutes, companies law, or statutory authorities, autonomous bodies, rules, regulations, all these are followed. Providing information. Government accounting provides information to the government about the receipts, transfer, deposition of public funds. Commercial accounting Commercial accounting provides information to the concerned parties about the operating results and financial position of the business. In mm, This depends on the objectives of the information. Government accounting, the objects is different, and commercial organizations accounts is the objective is different, because commercial we usually wanted to know the profit or loss, but in government the benefits goes to the public, that community, how community are benefited. So our interest of information depends the uh, for that information should be provided to the stakeholders. Next, auditing. Auditing, government accounting is still, I will say, I was in the government department and CAG's department, still not so public. Government accounts use is very limited. Still, it is limited, and we, the department of the C&AG, we have some idea, but in outsiders, they have limited use and ideas. Uh, so far, I think that. And auditing, so audit of these accounts, both the accounts, government accounts, so far as commercial and other statutory bodies, both are reported by the C&AG of India. And government accounts also prepared by the C&AG's department. And that's, I'll go later in details. So CAG's office also audit these accounts also. And government accounts, purely government accounts are prepared and audited by CNOG's department. Whereas in commercial accounting, that is initially prepared by the commercial organizations, then professional bodies, thereafter supplementary audits are doing by C&AG office. That is the difference of auditing system, government accounting and other commercial or other accounts. This is the main comparison, government accounting and commercial accounting. To this. Then I was telling about GAZAP, Government Accounting System Advisory Board, Standard Advisory Board. This is also. Should I continue? Hello.
Yes, sir.
আমি একটা মিটিং আছি। হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ আমি একটা মিটিং আছি। আচ্ছা ওকে। This is Government Accounting Standard Advisory Board. This is also constituted, and the Comptroller Auditor General of India has the they have the contribution for this. Government of India has accepted the proposal forwarded by Comptroller Auditor General of India for establishment of Government Accounting Standard Advisory Board for the Union and the states in order to establish and improve standards of government accounting and financial reporting, and to enhance accountability mechanism. Accordingly, the Comptroller Auditor General of India is authorized to constitute that body. So the role of CAG was there behind this to constitute that board for more improvement in the standard of government accounting and financial reporting system. So mission of the Government Accounting Standard Advisory Board is to formulate and recommend Indian government accounting standards for cash system of accounting and Indian government financial reporting standards for accrual system of accounting. So both type of system they should taken into account in their function, so that information system and accounting system should be more and more improved. That is mentioned with a view to improving standard of government accounting and financial reporting, which will enhance the quality of decision making and public accountability. Another thing is transparency. So accountability always with transparency. So this is the mission of the constituting that board. Next, background to some extent I told and detailed here. C&AG of India constituted Government Accounting Standard Advisory Board with the support of the Government of India through a notification dated 12th August 2002. So this, they have constituted this board in 2002. The decision to set up GAZAP was taken in the backdrop of the new priorities emerging in public finance management and to keep pace with international trends. The new priorities focus on good governance, fiscal prudence, efficiency, and transparency in public spending. I think my colleagues have heard that Gazab in USA, they have constituted this body, and thereafter in India, Comptroller Auditor General has constituted this. The accounting system the world over are being revisited with an emphasis on transition from rule to principle based standards and migration from cash to accrual basis based system of accounting. Gaza, as a nodal advisory body of India, is taking similar action to formulate and improve the standards of government accounting and financial reporting and enhance accountability mechanism. Now it is clear the objective of the constituting that body. The board has high level representation from the important accounting heads in government, Minister of Finance, Department of Post, Finance Secretaries of States, RBI heads of premier accounting and research organizations. So you will find that the members of the Gazab all are from these departments, various departments from finance to other departments, government departments. The membership of Gazab has been reviewed by notification dated 15th September 2021 and consists of the following members. That is the latest notification. Now objectives. The first objectives, to formulate standards relating to accounting and financial reporting by the union, the state and union territories with legislature. Their main functions also that to prepare the formulate standards for accounting system. And second recommendation, the standards so formulated by Gazab are recommended to the Government of India for notification in accordance with the provisions of the constitutions. So these two objectives behind the formation of that board is kept. So these are the objectives and background. Then composition. You might follow that composition. Deputy Comptroller Auditor General as chairperson, Controller General of Accounts, Ministry of Finance, Government of India, Financial Commissioner, Railway Ministry of Railways, Controller General of Defence Accounts, Secretary Post, Department of Post and Telegraphs, Member Finance, Department of Telecommunications, Additional Secretary Budget, Ministry of Finance, Government of India, Deputy Governor, Reserve Bank of India, or her nominees. From that part, nominee are allowed. Director General, National Council of Applied Economic Research, New Delhi. President, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, or nominee. President of Institute of Cost and Works Accountants of India. So these are the composition or structure of the Government Accounting Standard Advisory Board. And responsibilities of the board, the following are the responsibilities: to establish and improve standard of government accounting and financial reporting in order to enhance accountability mechanism, to keep the standards current and reflect changes in the government environment. So with the pace of time and changes taken place in the world at large, so they should keep that changes in their responsibilities. To provide guidance on implementation of standards. They framed the standards. They are preparing that, but they should provide guidance on implementation. That is, that standard should be followed by all the departments of the government so that the objectives of the preparing that standards fulfilled. Next, to consider significant areas of accounting and financial reporting that can be improved through the standard setting process. So these various areas of accounting and financial reporting, they should consider to frame their standards. Then to improve the common understanding of the nature and purpose of information contained in the financial reports. So that is to improve the common understanding so that the purpose and nature and information, the disclosures, that information are disclosed, that should be understood by all stakeholders. So they have to improve that thing also. To formulate and propose standards that improve the usefulness of financial reports based on the need of the financial report users. So they also try to improve that usefulness, that is the stakeholders, increase the stakeholders so that the financial reports are used and based on the needs, they feel the need of use the financial reports so that they have the responsibilities of this. Till now, the Gazav framed 4 standards, 1, 2, 3, 4. ICoAS, Indian Government Accounting Standard 1, Accounting Standard 2, Accounting Standard 3, and Accounting Standard 4 that have been notified. Other standards still under draft stage. I'll discuss this one by one, very short, not in details. Just a minute. Okay, I'm starting with Indian Government Accounting Standard 1. That Standard 1 mainly framed for disclosure requirements in financial statements. Government given the guarantees, various loans and advances are provided by the government to the community and others, undertakings, organizations, etc. So that disclosure requirement should be there. So that should be maintained in the financial statements, and how that should be, that is framed in that standard. and the state government of guarantees given by government, union territories, or the object to set out and ensure uniform and complete disclosure norms in respect of such guarantees for repayment of borrowings within such limit as may fixed upon the security of the consolidated fund of India or of states. Financial statement should disclose details given therein concerning class or sector of guarantees in the specified format. Then this every standard has the scope, objective like this. They are framed like this. So these standard for disclosure requirement on the financial statements of the guarantee given by the government. Next, standard 2. The objective of this standard is to prescribe the principles of accounting, that is, for example, namely recognition, measurement, and disclosures of grants in aid in the financial statements of government, both as grantor as well as grantee. The Constitution authorizes to provide for making grants in aid to agencies, bodies, and institutions having distinct legal entity. So these grants in aid are given by the government. So this objective of standard is to frame for the disclosure of this information on grants in aid. So, and I have mentioned here also, say Article 275 of the Constitution, grants from the Union to the certain states, such sums as Parliament may by law provide shall be charged on the Consolidated Fund of India in each year as grants in aid of the revenues of such states as Parliament may determine to be in need of assistance, and different sums may be fixed for different states. This is example I have placed here, the how that grants in aid are provided to the state, and state also provide some bodies, agencies like this. And this is all in short. Hello, should I show this? This is the standards notification and accounting classification, that is the introduction, objective, scope, definitions, like these all standards are framed like this. So, and disclosures might be there. These are the standards. These type of standards, all standards are this format. Next, third one. Third one provides disclosures on loans and advances. Government provided loans and advances with the object to lay down the norms for recognition, measurement, valuation, and reporting in respect of loans and advances made by the union, state government in their respective financial statements to ensure complete, accurate, and uniform accounting practices, and to ensure adequate disclosure on loans and advances made by the government in consistent with the best international practices. The main objective of these standard that disclosure should be given on loans and advances made by the governments. This is the third ICoAS, Indian Government Accounting Standard. And fourth one, so far till now it is notified. Others are framed, but to be notified. Indian Government Accounting Standard 4 provides disclosures on prior period adjustment with the objective to prescribe the manner in which prior period adjustments, including errors once identified, shall be presented and disclosed in the current period, that is current financial year, under cash basis of accounting, because government accounting are maintained in cash basis. But still, prior period adjustment, actually we see this in accrual basis mainly, but here they are trying to give the disclosures and presentation so that prior period adjustment can be done. Here you find the note, Indian government accounting standard formulated by Gazawar for cash system of accounting and mandatory from the effective date of their notification by the Ministry of Finance. These standards are notified from the Ministry of Finance, Government of India. So until and unless it is notified, we cannot say that it has been came into effect. So these are the 4 standards still notified. Next. Next, Comptroller and Auditor General of India. That is my department, and I am proud that I worked in this department. CAG's position as Constitution empowered him, and so the CAG's constitutional position is that the office of the C&AG of India is created by the Constitution. Article 148 to 151 of the Constitution of India empowers the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, an independent and important position, to perform his or her duties without fear or favor. That these words are very useful and very strong, that duties without fear or favor. The Constitution has provided adequate safeguards for his or her independence from the executive. It has perpetual existence like other constitutional organs of the state, namely the Supreme Court, the High Courts, and the Election Commission. The Comptroller and Auditor General is an officer of the Constitution and not an officer of the Parliament, even though he or she exclusively serves Parliament and state legislatures. The Constitution assures to Comptroller and Auditor General constitutional independence and has also placed him beyond fear or favor of the executive, whose transaction he is expected to account and to audit both. Thus, Comptroller and Auditor General plays a unique role in Indian parliamentary democracy. Now, role of Comptroller and Auditor General of India. From very beginning, from the appointment till submission of audit report, the Comptroller and Auditor General plays a very crucial role. Appointment, tenure, and removal of CAG. Article 148 of the Constitution provides that there shall be a Comptroller and Auditor General of India who shall be appointed by the President by warrant under his hand and seal, and shall only be removed from the office in like manner and on like grounds as a judge of the Supreme Court. So he is appointed by virtue of Article 148 of the Constitution, and his position, his tenure and removal is to be maintained as a manner of as judge of the Supreme Court. So his position like that. The Comptroller General of India shall hold office for a term of 6 years from the date of his which she assumes such office, provided that where he attains the age of 65 years before the expiry of said term of 6 years, he shall he or she shall vacate such office on that day on which he or she attains the said age of 60 years. Sorry, 65 years. That means maximum term 6 years or age of 65 years, whichever is earlier. That is his term of the office, tenure of office. Then terms of appointment. The Constitution guarantees his or her salary and other conditions of service, which cannot be varied to his or her disadvantage after his or her appointment, and shall be charged on the Consolidated Fund of India. Interference with the Comptroller General of India's function is likely if the salary and terms of condition of service are left to the discretion of the executives. So it is kept out of that purview. Again, even in the event of parliamentary displeasure with a Comptroller General, his or her salary, pension, or age of retirement will not remain within the competence of the Parliament to change, if it so wishes to penalize him or her. So it cannot be changed. Next, on his or her retirement, resignation, or removal, the C&AG of India is prohibited from holding any office under the government of India or under the government of any state. The Constitution has provided that salaries, allowances, and administrative expenses of the Comptroller General be charged upon the Consolidated Fund of India. It was also mentioned earlier paragraph. Unlike the other expenses of the government, his or her expenses will not be votable in the budget. Hence, his or her action and official conduct is intended to be excluded from the scope of parliamentary discussion and vote. The Constitution has thus accorded a very strong protection against parliamentary interference with the working of the C&AG of India's organization. Now, duties and powers. His duties or powers in two types. Is in one hand he is doing accounting, and another he is also conducting audit. So first I am going through accounting function. So as per the provisions of Article 149 of the Constitution, the Comptroller and Auditor General shall perform such duties and exercise such powers in relation to the accounts, including prescribing the forms of accounts to be kept of the union and of the states, and any other authority or body as may be prescribed by or under any law. Hello? Law made by Parliament. So the CAG is empowered for accounting and also to prescribing the form of the accounts. So he has been given that power also. Parliament has also prescribed the duties and powers of C&AG by enacting the Comptroller and Auditor General's Duties, Power and Conditions of Service Act 1971 as required by the Article 149 of the Constitution of India. And as per Section 10 of DPC Act, the Comptroller and Auditor General is responsible for compiling the accounts of the Union and each state from the initial and subsidiary accounts rendered to the audit and accounts offices. Second, for keeping such accounts in relation to any of the matters specified in clause 1 above as may be necessary. So his function is defined in the DPC Act 1971 and he has to perform that duties accordingly. his responsibility is given to him. This responsibility is given to him through that act. Next, regarding accounting function, preparation and submission. As per Section 11 of DPC Act, the Comptroller General is responsible to prepare in each year accounts showing under respective heads the annual receipts and disbursements for the purpose fund was allocated. So he has to prepare the accounts as per the norms, accounts heads that has been framed and prepared, that should be fulfilled in preparation of the accounts and submission of that. The Comptroller General, as per Section 11 of DPC Act, shall submit those accounts to the President of India or Governor of a state or Administrator of the Union Territory having Legislative Assembly on or before such dates as he may, with the concurrent of the government concerned, determine. So, in submission of accounts, he has to consult with the respective government and he has to determine the date on which that account should be submitted. Next function, to provide or give the information and assistance to the mainly government but also stakeholders through his reports and other way. The Comptroller General, as per Section 12 of DPC Act, shall, insofar as he is responsible for compilation and keeping the accounts, give to the Union, State Government, or Union Territories having Legislative Assembly such information as required from time to time and render such assistance in preparation of financial statements as they reasonably ask for. So this is also his function, one of the functions. Now, duties and power regarding audit. As per the provisions of the Constitution, the CAG's DPC Act 71 was enacted. As per the provision of Section 13 of DPC Act, the duties of the CAG include the audit of receipts and expenditure from the Consolidated Fund of India and of the states and union territories having legislative assembly, and to ascertain whether the money shown in the accounts as having been disbursed are legally available for and applicable to the service or purpose for which they have been applied. All transactions of the union and of the states relating to contingency funds and public accounts also, that should be maintained. And he should also audit trading, manufacturing, profit and loss accounts and balance sheet and other subsidiary accounts kept in any government departments, accounts of stores and stock kept in government offices or departments or commercial undertakings. Next, as per provisions of Section 14 of the DPC Act, CAG's audit should include audit of anybody or authority substantially financed by grants or loans from the Consolidated Fund of India and states or union territories having legislative assembly, any body or authority, even though not substantially financed from the Consolidated Fund, the audit of which may be entrusted to the C&AG. Next, he can audit. He has the power to audit all receipts and expenditure of any body or authority where the grants or loans to such body or authority from the Consolidated Fund of Union and states or union territories having legislative, as the case may be, in a financial year is not less than rupees 1 crore. That means if uh, grants and loans or advances given to any body or authority not less than 1 crore, then CAG can audit their receipts and expenditure accounts. Next, as per section 15, there are as per section 15 of DPC Act, where any grant or loan is given for any specific purpose from the considered funds of union and state governments or union territories having legislative assembly to any authority or body, not a foreign state or international organization, CAG shall scrutinize the procedures to satisfy sanctioning authority to fulfillment of the condition of such grants or loans. So this is another power given to the CAG so that he can interfere in this area also where that grants and loans are given. Next, as per provision 16 of the DPC Act, audit of all receipts payable to the consolidated fund of union and the state government and of each union territories having legislative assembly as usual to satisfy that the rules and procedures to secure an effective check collection and proper allocation of revenue are observed and to examine the accounts and report thereupon. So his function here to secure an effective check, collection and proper allocation of revenue are observed and to examine the accounts and report thereon. So this also has been given to him that he can audit. Next. As per provisions of section 17 of the DPC Act, to audit and report on the accounts of stores and stock kept in any office or department of the union and of a state. So under this section, the stores and stock kept by the office, that is department, this is not the commercial or statutory undertakings, but in government department, government offices, he has been given that power also. Next, as per section 18, he has been given the power in discharging his duties. The CAG have the authority to inspect any office and to audit and report on the accounts of stores and stock kept in any office or department of the union and of a state. That is, there is section 17 one thing and in 18 also stock and stores, but the department and two different organization. So this is mentioned in that. Then section 19. Under section 19, government companies, as per the provisions of the Companies Act, corporation established under law made by Parliament in accordance with the provisions of respective legislation. So under section 19, the government companies and corporations are audited. Section 20. Section 20, audit of certain authorities or bodies when he or she is requested to do so with right to access to the books of accounts of that body or authority. It is to some extent special type. So if he is asked to do that, he will perform his duties as per section 20. And to undertake audit of accounts of that body or authority where substantial amount has been invested in or advanced. In that case also, he can audit that accounts of that organization, authority or body. This is all. Then audit report. The Constitution by Article 151 has prescribed the procedure to be followed by the Comptroller General for presentation of his or her reports. His or her reports in regard to the Union government accounts shall be submitted to the President, and the accounts of the state government shall be submitted to the Governor of the state. So this is submission of the report, and thereafter this report should be presented to the Parliament or state legislature, assembly. So this is all about CAG's function. And to conclude this, notwithstanding a few inherent limitations, since he's not a part of the budget or parliament, so the Comptroller General plays a unique role in Indian democracy by upholding the constitution and the laws in the field of financial administration. He is neither an officer of the parliament nor a functionary of government. He or she is one of the most important officer of the constitution, and his or functions are as important as that of judiciary. All about the C&AG. Now, next, Public Accounts Committee, the PSC. Public Accounts Committee or PSC is a committee constituted from the members of the Parliament uh, and it is constituted every year by the Parliament of India under Rule 308 of Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business in Lok Sabha. It consists of 22 members, comprising 15 from Lok Sabha and 7 from Rajya Sabha. As a part of scope of function, the committee examines all associated financial records, including reports given by the C&AG of India, holds government institutions accountable for the use of public monies and resources prudently. This committee investigates several areas of the government's tax administration while evaluating the CAG's report on revenue receipts. Then, role of Public Accounts Committee. The Public Accounts Committee examines the accounts that show how the money granted by the Parliament has been spent by the government within the scope of the demand. This includes the appropriation of funds, annual finance accounts, and other relevant accounts of the central government, which is laid before the Lok Sabha. So the role starts from the function. That is, he examines the PSC examines the accounts and give their report also, and it reviews the reports of the C&AG on the government financial management. This includes revenue receipts, departmental expenditures, and accounts of autonomous bodies to satisfy itself that the fund that has been disbursed was legally available for the intended services or purposes. So they are watching. They also watch the funds are properly maintained or not, whether it is disbursed as per the rules and regulations and for which it is provided. And public funds are utilized properly and within the authorized scope that governs it. So since it is funds belongs to public, that is government is the public fund. So utilization, proper utilization of that is the scope of their role and function. Then every reappropriation has been made in accordance with the related rules or orders that should be looked into by the PSC, that they should care about the reappropriation, if any, made in accordance with the rules. Then PSC should ensure transparency and accountability in their financial operations from the point of view of economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. Committee keeps check on the money spent on any service during a financial year. If the expenditure is more than that the fund granted by Lok Sabha for that purpose, it would be mentioned in their report. So they, if any excess expenditure is made from that budget or sanction, then they should report it in their report, mention in their report. Committee should identify any financial mismanagement in the government's financial practices and brings them to light. If they find any mismanagement, financial mismanagement in the expenditure or revenue income, then they should mention in the report and they should highlight it and brings to the notice of the government that things. Next. Based on their findings, that is PSC, what they got from the reports and accounts and all these things, the PSC recommends corrective measures to address the identified irregularities and improve financial accountability. So their function also to recommend for corrective measures, so that if it can be corrected, that should be taken into account, so that corrective measures can be taken for that financial to improve the financial accountability. Next, PSC presents its report to the Parliament. It highlights its observations, recommendations, and any action required from the government. In their report, they give that report accordingly, so that government can take the corrective actions. And you see that note is there. All functions performed by PSC are assisted by C&AG. That is, CAG has a crucial role in performing the function of the Public Accounts Committee, and CAG's report also helps them. CAG's report, they examine CAG's report, they uh, find what CAG mentioned, what CAG given the report they used to. All these about the course, today's course. And since it is government accounting, I should highlight 2-3 things I have prepared, and I think there is enough time to discuss, because government accounts has very limited use, and uh, other than this department, our department at large, I can say that it is not used by uh, the public, but it is very important documents uh, that prepared by the C&AG, reported upon, and it is presented in the parliament or state legislature. So that is finance accounts and appropriation account. Finance accounts has two part, volume 1, volume 2, and in some cases, some states it is in single book, volume 1, volume 2, or in some states it is two separate books, volume 1 and volume 2, and one appropriation account. So I'll show you this finance accounts. This is old one. Union Government Finance and Accounts 2008-9 I'm showing. This elaborates the CAG's comments on union government accounts like this. And this is discussed in PSC also. Hello. সেটা ই করে কি করে? Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it okay? Continue.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir. You can continue, sir.
Acha, this is yeah, visible. This report. Yes. This is finance and accounts 2009, 2008 to 9. You can see from here that CAG's comments on union government accounts. So there are two departments of the C&AGs. One is AG A&D, who maintains the accounts and who are preparing that accounts. And another wing is audit wing that audits the accounts. And this is CAG's comments on union government accounts. I'm showing you audit report first, then I'll show accounts also. This is how CAG prepared these comments on the accounts. For the year, Union government transferred central plan assistance of rupees this much directly to state, district level, autonomous bodies and authorities, societies, non-government organizations, etc., for implementation of centrally sponsored schemes outside the state government budget. The aggregate amount of unspent balances in their accounts maintained outside the government accounts is unascertainable. The government expenditure as reflected in the accounts to that extent is overstated. This is the audit observation on the accounts of the Union Government of India. These type of observations are given in their report. So you can find that this is specific few audit comments. You can see from this. This is part of our function as a member of the Indian Audit and Accounts Department. So we, the people of this department, perform this function. So if we discuss individually, it will take much time. So I am showing these highlights of the comments. Then finance accounts, that is prepared by A&E department. This is for 2021, volume 1, finance accounts. This is, and all these you can see from, this is the certificate on finance accounts. You can see that this compilation containing the finance accounts of the government of West Bengal for the year, all states. You can follow this. This is, I am giving the West Bengal report, but this context almost same for all the states and also union. So this standard format for certificate of the C&AG. This compilation containing the finance accounts of the government of West Bengal for the year ending 31st March 2021 presents the financial position along with the accounts of the receipts and disbursements of the government for the year. These accounts are presented in 2 volumes. Volume 1 contains the consolidated position of the state finances and volume 2 depicts the accounts in details. The appropriation account of the government for the year for grants and charge appropriation are presented in a separate compilation. And this certificate given by the Comptroller and Auditor General, and compilations are made by field offices, state offices, that is AG office of these states and CAG's office for the central. So these is the, and CAG is giving all the reports for state also and for union also. Next, the finance accounts have been prepared under my supervision in accordance with the requirement of this C&AG's DPC Act 1971 and have been compiled from the vouchers, challans, and initial and subsidiary accounts rendered by the treasuries offices and departments responsible for the keeping of such accounts functioning under the control of the government of any state, and statements received from the Reserve Bank of India. Statement number 917, all these statements are standardized. It is almost all the states are same. Statements number 19, 17B, C, 19, 20, explanatory notes to statements 14, appendix 4, appendix 9 in this compilation have been prepared directly from the information received from the government of state, corporation, companies, societies who are responsible to ensure the correctness of such information. So these accounts are compiled from the information and other data provided by the department and organization of the state government or central, in case of central union government. Treasuries offices and departments functioning under the control of the government of state are primarily responsible for preparation and correctness of the initial and subsidiary accounts, as well as ensuring the regularity of transactions in accordance with the applicable laws, standards, rules and regulations relating to such accounts and transactions. CAG is writing, I am responsible for preparation and submission of annual accounts to the state legislature. My responsibility for the preparation of accounts is discharged through the Office of the Principal Accountant General, Accounts and Entitlements. Any state, here it is West Bengal, but any state. The audit of these accounts is independently conducted through the Office of the Principal Accountant General Audit, usually Audit 1. In accordance with the requirements of Article 149 and 151 of the Constitution of India, and CNAG's duties, powers, and act for expressing an opinion on these accounts based on the results of such audit. These of which are independent organizations with distinct cadres, separate reporting lines, and management structure. Audit was conducted in accordance with the auditing standards generally accepted in India. These standards require that we plan and perform the audit to obtain reasonable assurance that the accounts are free from material misstatement. An audit includes examination on a test basis of evidence relevant to the amount and disclosure in the financial statements. On the basis of the information and explanations that my officers required and had obtained, and according to the best of my information as a result of test audit of the accounts and on consideration of explanation given, I certify that to the best of my knowledge and belief, the finance accounts read with the explanatory notes to accounts give a true and fair view of the financial position and the receipts and disbursements of the government of West Bengal for the year. This is the year. Next. Points of interest arising from study of these accounts as well as test audit conducted during the year or earlier years are contained in my financial compliance and performance audit report on the government of West Bengal being presented separately for the year ended 31st March. Every year it is presented. Now that is another report. Financial compliance and performance audit report is presented by the C&AG along with these accounts. And next. Now C&AG emphasizes certain matters which has been given in this report. What are those? Few of those here, only 3 or 5 are there. I can read, you can follow. What type of report, what type of points which is emphasized in the report that has been given here. And he mentioned that I want to draw attention to the following significant issues, concerns which are important from the point of view of accuracy, transparency, and completeness of these accounts and maintaining legislative financial control over public finances. So This is the importance of the report. What are the points? I am just reading one. Despite West Bengal Treasury rules such and such, which states personal deposit account created by debit to the consolidated fund of the state shall be closed at the end of the financial year by minus debit of the balance to the relevant service heads in the consolidated fund of the state. It is noted that there is a balance of 3,465.33 crores in 160 personal deposit account as on 31st March 2021. Similarly, year-end balance have been noticed in 2019-20 with 5,239.64 crores in same personal deposit account, though it is reduced, but still there is that balance is lying. And similarly, competitive statement given in 2018-19, 17-18, 16-17, like this. And the number of personal deposit accounts also given. So this is the highlight of the comments or reporting. Non-transfer of unspent balance, that is the requirement of treasury rules, that should be refunded and returned. That should be debited in the accounts, but non-transfer of unspent balance is lying in personal deposit account to consolidate fund of the state entails the risk of misuse of public fund, fraud and misappropriation. These type of observation pointed out in the report. Similarly, another nature. The department had drawn 1,940 abstract contingent bills for an amount of rupees 769.56 crores in the financial year 2020-21 and submitted only 179 detailed contingent bills for an amount of rupees only 9.91 crores. Thus, there is a possible overstatement of expenditure of Ato crore in the year. This type of observations are given by C&AG's office on the accounts of the state or union. Further, a total 8,399 DC bills, detailed contingent bills amounting to rupees 1,882.57 crores for the year up to 18-19 and 1,161 DC bills amounting to rupees 757. 1,057, here it is 757.61 crore for the year 2019-20 were yet to be submitted. That these accounts is going on 2021, but still 1920 pending. Hence, up to 31st March, total this number of DC bills amounting to rupees this much crore are not submitted. There is therefore no assurance that the expenditure to that extent 3,399.83 crore had actually been incurred for the purpose for which it was sanctioned authorized by the legislature. Advances drawn and not accounted for increases the possibility of wastage, misappropriation, malfeasance, etc., etc. So these are the points audit raised on the accounts. During 2020, another point, how these points are going on. This one type of point. This is another observation of like this. So these are given importance. So this is given here in the report itself. During 2021, a total of 61,196 uses, utilization certificates for an amount of 33,002. Excuse me, just a minute. এখন কথা বলতে পারছি না, আমি একটা মিটিং আছে। During 2020-21, a total of 61,196 utilization certificates for an amount of rupees 33,243.85 crores were awarded from the Department of the State Government. There is therefore no assurance that the expenditure of that much had actually been incurred for the purposes for which it was authorized or sanctioned. Utilization of funds could also not be ascertained for an amount of 1,95,854.82 crores because of non-receipt of 3,32,966 UCs for the period up to 2019-20. As of 31st March 2021, a total number of UCs 3,94,162 were awaited. That amount involved is 2,29,098.67 crores. Huge pendency in submission of UCs that may be resulted in fraud or misappropriation of fund. Next, another point. Varieties of points have been given here. So 5 types of comments given here. During 2021, the government gave guarantees against 4 cash credit loans amounting to rupees 1,860 crores in favor of 2 institutions which were not included in the statement showing the guarantee given by the state government in the budget publication number such and such. Consequently, the maximum amount guaranteed and additions of the in the statement of finance accounts stood understated 1,000 to that extent, same extent. That means nothing has been spent or utilized. The understated amount of guarantees outstanding are, however, not ascertainable due to lack of information by the government. The state government has an off-budget liability of 3,016.64 crore towards various financial institutions not reflected in the accounts in addition to the outstanding liabilities of 4,86,429.81 crores. So all these are the comments, and I think this is unique feature of the function of the CNAG, that one unit doing the accounts and other units doing the audit. This is the observation. And this one, volume 2, you will find the figures only, all accounting figures. This is mainly volume 2. And I have mentioned that structured major head, minor head. This is also, these heads are that code. This codification are maintained in this. Just to show that codes are maintained, major head, minor head, like this. Now I can show you appropriation account. The This is the appropriation accounts. Appropriation accounts presents the accounts of sum of grants and charge appropriations expended in compared with the sums specified in the schedule appended to the Appropriation Act passed under Article 204 and 205 of the Constitution of India. And these appropriation accounts exhibits original grant or appropriation. I have mentioned O in quote because this original grant or appropriation is marked by O. That is why I have quoted these O, S, and R. O means original grant or appropriation. S for supplementary grant or appropriation. And third, reappropriations, withdrawals, and surrenders sanctioned by the competent authority. So appropriation accounts exhibits all these things. And another thing is charged appropriation and expenditures are also shown. These are total. And now, again, for savings, following norms are approved by the Public Accounts Committee to be adopted for CAG's comment on the appropriation account. That is, this part is account maintaining, this part is audit part. After presenting the time will permit. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Time will permit. I am going more details.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you can go ahead, sir. No problem.
Okay. In appropriation accounts for savings part, PSC discusses our audit report. So PSC's function is there regarding that appropriation and finance accounts. So appropriation, while I am talking about appropriation accounts, the appropriation accounts, how these accounts are placed and discussed, the part of that I have mentioned here. For savings, the following are the norms which are approved by PSC to be adopted for CAG's comments on appropriation accounts. That is, comments are to be made for overall savings exceeding 5% of the total provisions. That is up to 5% of the total provisions. Comments here mentioned, but no comments to be issued for 5%. So 5%. For 5% of savings, no comments can be issued. Then comments to be made in individual subheads for savings. This is overall savings, 5%. For individual subheads, savings exceeding 20 lakh in case of grants less than 20 crores. If grants is less than 20 crores, then savings exceeding 20 lakhs, that can be commented upon. Next. Comments are to be made in individual subheads for savings exceeding 40 lakh in case of grants between 20 crore and 50 crores. Then if savings exceeds 40 lakhs in case of grants between 20 crore and 50 crore, then comments should be made. Next, there is third comment. In individual case, overall 5% is exempted. No comments can be issued. Comments are to be made in individual subheads for saving exceeding 80 lakhs in case of grants exceeding 50 crores. If grants exceeds 50 crores and there is savings 80 lakhs, then comments should be given. And for charged appropriation, comments are to be made in all subheads where variation is more than 10 lakhs rupees. This is all about savings. Now, excess. For excess, general comments will be made for regularization of excess over the provisions in all cases where there is overall excess, any amount. If overall excess is there, then comment should be given. Next, individual subheads. Comments are to be made in individual subheads for savings exceeding 20 lakhs in case of grants less than 20 crores. Grants may be 20 crores, less than 20 crores. But if savings exceeds কোথায় চলে গেল? $20 lakhs in case of grants less than 20 crore, then comment should be given. Similarly, individual case 40 lakhs in case of grants between 20 crore, that should be given. Comments also, that figure are same, only excess and savings two separately mentioned. Other things are same. Okay. Then another thing is, I can show you. This is another report. Annual accounts. This is also CAG's report on union government. Full-fledged report by the C&AG on accounts of the union. It was shown state-wise. It is for Government of India. Similar type of, I can show the report. Just a minute. You have not seen one thing. Huh? 10 minutes. আচ্ছা, কিন্তু আমি ইয়ে করতে পারছি না। এই কেউ প্রশ্ন করছে কিনা আমি জানি না। আচ্ছা, any comment or any question? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
I can't see any comment or chat or yeah, any question. Do you have? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Is there any comment or any question?
I don't think so. Otherwise, members are putting in chat box also.
Yes, I am not getting chat box. That is the problem I am facing.
Let me check, sir. One moment.
Achha, yes. Please check.
Hello.
Hello.
Sir, there is one question in chat box.
Hmm.
Can I tell you? Sir,
Yes.
yeah. Sir, is this part of cost auditor exam? Tell how to prepare. That is a question.
Actually, what happens in cost audit service exam, there is only theoretical question. So they should go by these, and so many sites are there. They can see from that, and government CAG site, they will find so many things. And two more things are there. CAG's auditing standards are there, and financial attest audit is there. So these two books they can see from the CAG site. Okay. Hello. Hello.
Sir, no more question in chat box now.
Okay. Then we can conclude. That's all.
Thank you, sir.
I can say thank you. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, we can conclude, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Wish all them best of luck.